Hey, what's up? Well, what's up, everybody? My name is Musa, as you know, from More Football, and today we have Abby and Adam from Johnston
Hey,
FC Football Club,
hi
and we have a
everybody.
lot of great news today to share. And I'm also hoping to get a little bit more information on how you guys' first season, is going. Not only men and women, and any news that you like to share with us. So before we
Ooh.
start all of this, I think Abby has probably the biggest news that she has to share for everyone in
Oh,
not only Missouri, but Illinois, all the way to Texas.
yeah. So it was announced today that I am an advisor for Goals TV. So yes, 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 yes. For those of you that are watching, Mo's show is also on Goals TV, and it's a soccer-specific media platform. And Jose contacted me and asked me to come on board to help grow as a whole, but especially, women's and lower league and stuff like that. So I'm super excited to be on board and see what we can do.
Yeah, and for those that don't know or be living under a rock, Goals TV is will be the place to be for soccer content from the fan section of it. So they will
Yeah,
be from USL, MLS, US Soccer World Cup. They have partnerships with USL teams. So
hmm
they're just keep on adding more and more content from all across content creators.
yeah.
So
It's really exciting because it gives everybody a voice, and it doesn't put a limit onto, to who's getting a voice on the game. And my favorite thing about this was that the world is not going to like this. The world is not going to like this, but Jose told me no rules, no censor, and I can do whatever I want. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
hey, soccer is just a free world, right? It's just the way you express yourself. Some do it on the field, talking about it. Some people do it on recording, and
hmm
some do it through administrative ways. And like you guys, start your own club at the same time. So
Yeah, that's what's cool
freedom is
about the beautiful game. And like, as a whole right now, the push is like everyone has a spot in not just soccer, but sports or even just in business. The way of business is really being pushed. Like it's more about your unique individuality and your unique skills, and bringing all of that together for maximum impact. So it's exciting stuff.
yes. So how about yourself, Adam? How are things going with the administrative world of club football?
Oh, it's hard. Um, I'm I think there's a vast difference between our men's and women's club. Uh, and it showed this year. Our women had an incredible year for their inaugural season, finishing in second place, sole possession of second on their
Mm.
table, and it was the environment in their matches was incredible. When you're getting compliments from opposing teams, you're doing something right. And we may not have that supporter section yet, but it's coming. And we also get that appreciation from the coaches and the players. They notice it. And when we're at home, if they need that extra boost, it's kind of okay, let's get this place going. And I'm not saying it's going to sound like an MLS game or a USL2 game, for example. It's not. We're not going to sound like Vermont, FC out there. No,
Oh
no.
yeah,
Uh,
you're like that's this guy right there.
that's
Yeah.
that. But for us and the league we're in, that's really good. we want that culture in women's sports in Urbana, and that's what's happening. And it showed. It shows with businesses, partners, you name it out there. Now, on the flip side, our men's team, you know, we went out to Muscatine, Iowa,
Mm.
um, and unfortunately, we were down quite a few players on vacation. Unfortunately, there was a couple guys hurt, and unfortunately, we also had to play somebody that was hurt. Fortunately, he didn't sustain anything worse to his knee. But that was a tough 7-3 loss. We only had 12 guys. We had to roster our coach.
Yeah.
And that was one of the tougher, I think that was one of the tougher matches I think I've watched. Because there's nothing they could do about it. They had heavy legs and we had no subs.
They played so
And
hard though. They
they
really tried.
played their tails off, and I was proud of them. And
Mm-hmm.
you make sure to tell them afterwards. There's
Absolutely.
nothing you can do about that. You did what you could, and that's all we're asking. You left it all out there. That was a physical match, very, very physical. There was a lot of stuff I think that I didn't like. I know Abby did not like
Mm-hmm.
from Pearl City. There was a very unfortunate collision. One of our players, his name's Joyce, had with the goalkeeper. One of those 50-50 balls that you just both go up for it. There was a nasty
Right.
collision, and he went down. And I was very concerned. I was doing. Abby was on near the goal where it happened. I was doing our live stream, and I didn't know what was going on. Apparently, there was a one of the players on Pearl
Mm.
City was very loud. He was he was complaining about every single whistle. Was not too kind to our player, and
Mm.
that's very upsetting. You don't make fun of a head injury. You can poke, you can talk to each other, but when it comes to head injuries, that's a different animal.
No,
Um,
just disrespect in general. They need to learn.
yes,
Like, there's a difference between like shit talk banter, like heat of the moment.
yeah,
Like they're disgusting. I'll be honest, and I feel bad because like Walton and the team, like they've been great to work with behind the
Mhm.
scenes. Like I actually I helped them, get a hold of their administrative or get a hang of their administrative stuff and everything, but when we played them at home, we also had issues
Yeah,
with their players insulting me, insulting our staff on the sideline. We're like, we're not even talking to you. What is your problem? And
yeah,
I had a conversation with Victor after that, and I just pretty much was like, that wasn't cool, and I'd be embarrassed if it was me. And then they were so sorry, right? Because I was like, that's what you're proud of, like you're proud that your players act like that, like that you should be ashamed, pretty much. And then for it to turn around and not only be worse this time, but
yeah,
for them to like try to start shit, to try to like start a fight with me on the
yeah,
sideline after he talked shit about our player getting a fucking head injury,
yeah,
man, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not. I'm not sorry, but I laid into Walton at the end of it. I was just like, and I stand by this. If any of our players disrespected a single person like that, they would
yeah.
never put on a Junction jersey again. I would make sure of it. So it's just
I
like
guess maybe it's just one
disgusting.
of those situations where I guess the greediness of like I guess lower section, or is just the culture that's being put within a certain organization that
Well,
either
it was the same few
fuel it
players.
or don't.
Yeah, it was the same few players. Like, they weren't all like that, right? And also,
Of course.
like, some people don't realize that that shit's not okay until you point it out. But I already pointed it out. So, and they say, that's not the culture we're trying to create. Is it? Because we already had this discussion. We already had this conversation. You apologized. You said it was not the look that you wanted. And here we are, and it happened again. Anyway, I'm not going to bitch about it anymore.
Well,
Keep going, Adam.
with that being said, now, Pearl City towards the end of that match did have a spectacular goal.
Oh my God.
Bicycle kick, and it was one of those shots that you just kind of you had to hey
You can't be mad.
that
You can't be mad.
that was really good. That was nice. And if you go on our live stream or if you go on there recorded, you'll see it. It was gorgeous. Now moving on from that, moving more towards the administrative side, the business side. Before that match, that last Friday, Abby and myself and one other, we went out and we hit the pavement and put together a marketing strategy, put together a some businesses, went out, and it was one of those, okay, let's start it. This is day one. Let's start. Let's do this. That like Decatur's not as receptive as Urbana, Champaign Urbana. It's not, and it is what it is, and we
We
got to
knew it,
figure out
but
how to work with it. And that is what we're trying to do at this point. With my full-time job, it makes it hard. With that being said, this month on Fridays I get off early, and it's okay. Fridays are my Decatur days. I know we have a match this Friday, but not in the morning. Let's go out and figure out how to do this. Let's get some business. Let's do work.
I like the grinding. That's usually the hustle makes it all worth it, right? So what would there be one thing that if someone were to want to start their own club, that I guess a tip or a suggestions or a what not to do for someone that was hoping to start their own club? Just pick one of them.
be very selective about who you bring on board.
Okay. Yep.
Be very
Sounds like
selective.
Yes.
normal business thing where I guess
Um, if you
sorry.
have a vision,
Stick
go
to
with
it.
that vision. Don't let anybody talk you down or say, "Oh, that doesn't matter." No, 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 no. That's what you wanted. Go for it. Go for it.
Like that.
Does
Abby?
Um,
that have a very specific story behind what we're talking about? Yes. Are we going
yes.
to get
Yes.
into it on a live? Maybe. Not right now, though.
Man.
Give us
Not
a little
now.
bit.
No, no. Anything else that comes to mind? That's
No, like in all seriousness, you know, the way to do a club, the way to get your attendance is by going through the community. It does
Mhm.
not matter, if obviously you need to get advice from people of all walks of life, of all stages of business, but you need to take, anytime you're getting advice for your business, you need to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. A lot of people, like, apparently don't know how to separate what's relevant from what's not. Um, and then also, you need to get into the community as far as like going to organizations such as like the Arts Council, Boys and Girls Clubs, YMCA, libraries, schools, sports organizations, um, Kiwanis, Rotary clubs, stuff like that. Like getting into the community, like networking, engaging, and showing that you really are there for them. Like that's going to be your ticket to success. Is just boots on the ground, get out there, shake some hands, high five some people. You know, if you're a germaphobe, don't, whatever. But like, just get out there through the community. It doesn't matter if someone else founded the most successful youth club in Decatur, their business model may not work for your business model. And that doesn't mean that they get to control it from the outside. Um, so, like Adam said, stick to your vision and your plan and make sure you hit it through the community where it really matters, the supporters and the fans. The dollar signs need to happen to cover operational costs, but at what cost? At everyone else's mental health, at everyone else's culture, at the own president's well being?
Mhm.
No.
Mhm.
Stick to your guns, utilize the community, um, keep your circle tight, and water fights on hot match days because that was great.
Water fight on hot days. I think the players will probably appreciate that.
Yeah, we did that during
Yeah,
halftime. Like we got a
during
bunch of
Mhm.
even better.
Now, and that goes to our women's side. I think the very first match we went to, we get there and everything's everything's taken care of. We get to
beautiful.
watch the match, and I'm sitting there like, oh, okay. Well, this is
We need to
different.
be doing
Th-
something.
this is nice. Exactly. And I found myself running, getting ball kids water, placing the ball kids, and then you find out that, oh, there's people for this. Oh, well, I'm so used to doing this, it's just kind of second nature at that point. But it was such a different experience overall. And you wouldn't think playing at a high school it would be like that, but it is.
It was great.
It was great. The way those girls responded um to that, and the growth from that team throughout the season. I mean, was
Amazing.
absolutely incredible. They did a complete 180 from the first, what, 4
Mm.
matches to, I mean, the first half of the season, second half of the season were completely, totally different seasons.
From what I've gathered,
Yeah.
it looks like, but I guess it's the typical, you have the girls have or players have to get to know each other
Mm.
and learn their tendencies. That
Right.
typically only works during actual games. Practices only teach you just a small portion of, I guess, tendencies. So
Yeah.
yes, and I think the biggest thing I was impressed since I think I watched maybe the first game at the
Mhm.
Lufuse was that you guys had a very good traveling supporter section.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
I
Yes.
think almost all of the girls had their parents or siblings at that
Yes.
game on their I don't know how long of a drive. So that
Yeah.
was quite impressive
Mhm.
for first season, first game. I think maybe first or second game, and
Mhm.
then you have the whole supporter section filled up. So that was quite impressive.
Man, and they started doing these, they got into it. So we had some people that they started getting train whistles and conductor hats, and it was
Mhm.
just like it's really fun. They're so good. They're so great. Like I love it.
Right. So it looks like that part. So how about the traveling part? Because I saw that you guys, have to put some mileage
Mhm.
going to some of those games. So how does that feel on kind of how is the experience? So there's just the two of you driving in the car, you
Mhm.
know, going almost in the middle of nowhere, and then
Yep.
you have to entertain yourself. Like how is that part of the you know not so glamorous part of running a club?
It it's fun. Abby and
Okay.
I have road tripped, the two of us. I mean, since when we met for the normal corn belters, um, you know, that's where our friendship began. And I remember, I mean, we did road trips. I mean, we did a trip to Evansville against the
They tried to
Evansville
recruit us.
Otters. And they
Evansville
did.
tried to steal us.
And it's so simple for a road trip. You get good conversation, and then at the same time you put on some good music. And the trip might be 3 hours, 2.5 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, but the trip there is, it can be entertaining. Now it's the trip back,
Yeah.
especially at night, that can get, are we there yet? Are we there yet? But it's when you see it all, I love to see us there in support of the players, and then those players that acknowledge that you are there. They like this, they love the support. They may not say it, but and it's like any sport, you know, if you get a good contingency of away fans there, visiting fans, they love it. They like it. They know that they love you. They're proud of you. They'll support you no matter what.
And it's like Adam said, 12 years of these little road trips. So it's been
Mhm.
really fun. One thing
Mhm.
that has improved is our healthy food choices, or healthy-ish food choices. We went from pretty sure when we went to Evansville, I actually, no, not pretty sure, I know there's a very
Oh
specific
yes.
post. I remember I made a Facebook post because it came up on my memories like within the last couple of years, and we had just bought a shit ton of Mountain Dew and candy
Hmm.
and like just we just went wild. So we're like what, 22, 23, and like in
Yeah.
shape, and like who gives a shit. This time we're going to like Applebee's half price apps because we're cheap and it's much better food quality. No, but so we've grown up a little bit in our food choices. No, but I just think for me, I love a road trip. I would rather drive than fly places. Like I like to drive to Disney instead of fly. Like so for me, it's just another road trip. I drive a lot for work. I drive a lot to do stuff within the markets that I work in. Um, so it's nice to have Adam with me, or I think one time we took my friend Scott or whoever's with us. It's nice
Yep.
to have company.
Yeah.
But I honestly do. I enjoy just away days. I enjoy away days. It is what
Mhm.
it is. I don't know. I guess I really don't have much more to go off that. I wish that we had closer, more clubs closer, so we could do more away days. But we'll get there. The game's about to grow, so.
You guys are experts. Maybe it's just me. Driving is not my favorite thing. So are we there yet when we just got off our driveway?
Yeah.
So yes. Yeah.
On the way
I
home,
mean
I
for
usually do lay down and make out. I usually take a little nap while Adam takes the ride home on himself. But on the way there,
yeah,
the
that's me.
it's really cool also to be able to go places that you've never been.
I
Like Muscatine or Cedar Rapids. It's places, I've never been to I've been to Iowa plenty of times, but I've never been there. So you go through these, whether it's a suburb or just a small town. It's cool to see what they have to offer. And I mean, we're gonna go. I plan on going to. I think we plan on going to Burlington. I've never been to Burlington.
I have.
I'm
This is
excited to see what they
Burlington,
have to offer.
Illinois. Which
Iowa.
state is that? Iowa.
Mm.
We're CISA.
CISA. By the way,
And
if you have a youth club, let's just plug. My daughter played youth soccer. My all-time favorite youth tournament is at CISA. Their Monster Mash, their Halloween tournament. It is so fun. They put on such a great tournament, and they have big fire blowing things. If you win, you get to stand by the. I don't know what they're called. You know.
Oh, just like the pros, huh? Lift it
Yes.
up and then
So if your youth club is looking for a Halloween themed tournament, go to CISA to Monster Mash. You're welcome, CISA, for the free plug. I really do love your tournament.
we'll clip it and then send it to him.
I'll charge them.
well, and then I'm also a stick. I like looking at different venues. Like, where do they play? What's what's their atmosphere like? And I know we like to get there early and just scope it out. It's just fun. What do they have to offer? Where are we playing? Where are the locker rooms? What's around the area? What kind of concessions do they have? So that kind of stuff. and it's just fun. It's a fun time. It's an enjoyable time. There's a lot of places I wish I could go to. I wish I could have gone to Ajax. I wish I could have gone to Colombia. There was a couple that just didn't work out, and those are for upcoming seasons. So it's something to look forward to. And I'm not going to just leave it to the Midwest Premier League or just our Gateway Conference. No, I want to go out and look at other places. I went to when I went to Florida, I drove past Chattanooga Red Wolves Stadium. That was
Right.
that I that it was cool. It may not be anything, extravagant, but it is a soccer stadium nonetheless. And that, you may not be watching it, but you get to drive by it. I love being a major sports fan, just driving by it. It's fun. It's cool. You get a glimpse of, what they have to offer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
big shout out to Chattanooga FC out of the MLS Next Pro. They're
Yes.
they're pretty much killing it now, and there are quite a few people from there too. So shout out to there's a French international, of course.
yeah,
If
Okay.
someone's French, I have to.
of course, of
And
course.
but also Jesse Williams that
Mm.
is actually plays for Trinidad and Tobago
Ooh,
national team that plays for there too. So
Cool.
they have a pretty good um set of players, but also it's one of those where their attendance actually are like the 5, 6, 7,000 people.
Okay.
So
wow.
it's one of those. I would have never thought that Chattanooga had that
Chattanooga,
much,
yeah,
but apparently
That's
they had very good history of
gives us
soccer,
some hope.
yeah.
and local soccer is definitely supported.
Well, I know they play at the University of Tennessee Chattanooga there.
Yes,
That's they
I
play in
think
their
I saw.
football stadium, and driving through Chattanooga, which is absolutely beautiful. Um,
Yep.
you catch a glimpse of just a slight glimpse, and I'd love to go to a match there. I mean, a football game out there. Just where it's located is unbelievable. I mean, it's placed right in the middle of the mountains. And to
Yeah,
have
that's
that
where I have to
scenery.
Google it. I have to Google it because we drive to the mountains to go to Florida all
Yep,
the time,
yep,
but not knowing that stadium here. So we might have to add, one of
Little
those
pit
pins
stop.
to see where it actually is.
yep,
Because yes, we definitely wants to go into those mountains, and just it might be one of those stops
yes.
this year. But we'll see what if the kids have something to say about it. If they're that bad, we'll just go it down.
Over it, yeah. The other
Yes.
thing,
Yeah.
like to add on to what Adam was saying about, like he said, we like to get there early, so it's a, it's like a nerdy match day operations type things. Like we like to say what we would do. Like we really like to like observe the market and see how it compares to different markets that we've seen, and like, okay, this is what we would do. That's what we would do. It's like that's a part of the fun too. So like we realized that Cedar Rapids is just like Central Illinois, just bigger. Like they have the same problems. They even have like very similar, like what was it, Adam? They had we have craft, they had a Quaker. We have craft, they have Quaker. We have what were the other things that were similar?
Well, they have ADM as well.
ADM, yeah.
And then I mean, and here was a fun one we found was they had a hot dog bar.
Yeah.
Hot dog.
I love hot dogs.
To make your own hot dog.
Yeah. Little did we know that, or else we definitely would have stopped.
Yeah.
Um, but so it's certain things like that like Abby said that we can compare and contrast. What works with them, what works with us, what's different, what do they do better. And even going through, even myself visiting like DeKalb County United. There's you've I've seen what they do, which I mean, their match day experience was the match I went to. Their match day experience was great. It was incredible. There was over 600 people there. It was a huge theme night, pediatric cancer night. and they put on a show. It was a great game against Chicago House. And it was a fun environment. It was, you know, I remember getting back in my car and making a video basically saying, this is what we want. This was amazing. I had such a great time. And especially the people there, you know, and this was before, really, we put the idea of Decatur Soccer Project out there, but we hadn't really launched it yet. So this was just kind of oh, well, I'm in the area and they're playing. Let's go check it out and see how they run their match day ops, and just check out. It was so much fun. I love what they do there. And they definitely do it right, definitely. And on top of that, and I know it's near Chicago, but it's in DeKalb, which is in the middle. It's a town in the middle of nowhere. Cornfield, town, university
We
and
can
all.
relate to that.
And it's very interesting how they are able to do it though, and they make it work, and they make it work good. They do a heck of a job out there, and I give props to John and company out there. They do great work.
So that means people are definitely missing out on clubs that are not necessarily under the lights, but
No.
are doing enough for their own community, and you never know what comes out of that. And usually it's
Mhm.
just watching a good product being played.
Mhm.
Everybody's happy or sad or stressed,
Mhm.
and then you go home and go from there. But it
Yeah.
sounds like you guys need to record some of those trips
We
so
need to do
people
better
can
about
see,
that. Honestly, we
so
need to
people
do
can
better
Yeah.
about
see,
it.
the actual grind of putting
We'll
a
do the
club
next
together with,
one.
limited
Yeah.
budget and all that. Um, it definitely kind of show, how things are happening in smaller parts of the country versus, because all we hear is that, you know, billionaires have to put X amount of money to be able to run a club, need to be able to build a stadium, but it always forget, this people that are below that are actually doing most of the work that create the culture of
Mm,
football around town, which then translates to the bigger city and translate to then we say USL and
mhm,
MLS.
Mhm.
Because I think a lot of the time we see is that a lot of those their players that you hear from certain universities is not everybody's not coming from a big town.
Mhm.
They all come from those smaller towns that did go to build those universities, those colleges. So it's always good to see, where it starts
Mhm.
and then maybe kind of help highlight those communities. We all know in Europe when
mhm.
a kid grows up and becomes, a bigger player, we all know that each of those clubs that they've touched gets part of their transfer fees. So those clubs are actually able to run themselves because one player is sold for 100 million, and then this guy goes and this club gets 0.001% of that. You might have $1 million,
Mm.
and that will help a whole bunch of other kids. So it's always good to know how some of those people start, which led them to where they are now. Or if they don't even make it pros, it's people that then become coaches, teachers, business owners, which will then feed and support those local clubs at the same time. So it's a forever life cycle if you do it the right way.
The circle of life.
Yes, there you go. See, and you
There you
have
go.
all these kids coming to your events. They they see soccer being played. They're
Mhm.
like, maybe one day they're like, I want to be that person, and that's all it takes.
You
So
know,
that's why I try to kind of highlight you guys as much as I can because
We appreciate it.
that's we only talk about the ones that we see on TV. So why not just join the grind? I
you
guess.
know, I'd love to I'd love to highlight, every single one of our players. As you know, from our men's and women's team, they're all great players. They're all striving for different things. I want to give a big highlight to One of our players, his name is Ebenezer
God. We love him.
He is one of the most down to earth players and most hard working players.
So hard.
And
God.
he is the cleanest defender, tackler I've ever seen. This guy doesn't touch anything but the ball when he goes for a he's quick, he's precise, he's I mean, everything, every positive word you could say. He's aggressive without being dumb. But he also has this a smile that can light up a room.
Oh God, he's the most joyful.
He's positive. He's and he's fun to be around, and he wants it. And he wants it because he's on social media. He was out at our women's matches. He's always asking. He's asking us for stuff. We want to help those players get to that next level. And if there's anybody that's going to watch this, I highly, highly, highly recommend BTi.
Ebenezer BTi. All-American.
He's amazing.
He won
Abby,
All-American.
where was he? You got to share his information.
Oh yeah, he's on all socials. Yeah. We'll share it.
Yes, we will.
Ebenezer BTi. I've posted him and tagged him in a few times. If you go watch some of the videos from there's a video from the women's match. What would it be?
You'll have to tell me.
It's at. He's got a couple. I think it's just like at Ebenezer BTi or at BTi.
I'm all over the place,
Yeah.
You'll have to
like
tag me, send me like Mo right there.
He's hardworking, and he's the guy that he was one of our players that he's injured. He has an injured knee. And I went up to him after the match and I said, if there's anything you need, let us know. Ask him, how's your knee? How's it holding up? Does it hurt? And you find when you care about something, you find yourself getting literal emotional about it. And I found myself getting emotional because I want it for him. I know he wants it.
We want it for him,
but I want it for that guy so bad because I know how much he wants it, and he's working for it.
And deserves it, honestly.
Yes, he does. So we will definitely, we'll definitely get you his info, and
all of them.
Oh, everybody.
Adam,
I mean,
are you on your phone, Adam?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have my laptop out. Why don't you shoot him a Insta message or something? Do you have Insta on your laptop?
No, not on my laptop.
Or
well, I mean, I can log into it, but I don't want to touch it either. I'm afraid I'm going to mess something up.
We'll invite him next time.
Yeah, we will.
You know what?
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna go see. I'm gonna go try to get BTi on here.
Okay. We love these guys to death. That's why we want to go and show our support for them when they are on the road. They deserve it. They're hardworking, and like I said, I think this last match against Pearl City was a huge learning experience. When you only have 12 guys, know full well that your legs are going to get heavy. You're going to be short guys, so it's all about how do I pace myself? How do we? And I don't know anything about that. I've never played, so watching them, I was very interested, and it was interesting to watch. It was tough to watch, because that if we had our full squad, we would have gotten the job done. And right now, we would probably be at 11 points on the table. But with that being said, we're not. That's okay. And they gave it everything they could. And these next two matches, we're going to have a full squad. And we're gonna expect some wins and some good outcomes. So
So are those last games at home with you guys?
Yes, we play St. Louis Club Atletico next on Friday,
Friday.
and then Saturday, the next Saturday we play CISA. And then the next
CISA
week
again, right?
we finish them. Yes, we finish off with them for the season. Yep, and then everybody's back off to school.
All right.
I just shot
Yeah,
BTi a message, so we'll see if he hops on here. I hope he
but
does.
we're
Yeah,
Oh,
and I
you're
think
gonna
it's
love him, Mo. He's just, oh God,
oh
we love
yes,
BTi so much. He's just he's got such an infectious smile. You can be in the worst mood in the world, and BTi comes around, and like
yeah,
you're flipped
yep,
upside down. That kid is
yeah,
great.
no
yeah,
pressure, no pressure.
yes. He's fun. He's the first. I think he's the first player I really got to know. And because he was easy to approach, and I went to a training and I saw him with and I know he was working hard. He was tired, but I saw that big smile on his face, and I just looked at him and said, "Hey, you keep smiling, just
But
keep that positivity."
It,
and he has.
gotta do it.
I
Yeah,
mean, even when he's injured, you know, he was more worried. Like he was worried about letting us down, and I'm like, nope. Like, rest your knee, please. Like,
yeah,
but
yeah.
he's great, and just there are people in this world that just radiate just the most authentic and pure light, and people that are just such a blessing to anyone they come in contact with. And I know we're going on like a long time of talking about BTi here, but he really is one of those people, and he's got the talent to match it up. And we have tons of talented guys, and we would love to highlight you guys too. But BTi, like Adam said, he's like DMing us all the time, sending us texts all the time. Like
Hmm.
he's taking the initiative. He wants it.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
wants it. And for me, that's huge to like put yourself out there. Like, that's great. I'm going to see if he DM me back real quick. You guys keep talking.
We have another guy who's he wasn't on our roster originally. He's an intern. Yet he still plays. Well, we needed him. So he's on our training squad. His name's Tyrique Moore, and he played the entire match against Pearl
Uh,
City without playing one match the whole year. And I was impressed. I was impressed. I think the first few minutes it was a bit of a shock, kind of, the situation he was in, but once he got going, it was the game just kind of came to him. It was just a good flow, and I was really, really, really happy that he got that opportunity to play. Really
Trial
happy
by
for him.
fire, it sounds like.
Yeah, Tyrique played at Western. He's really good.
Yeah.
And shout out, he just got his master's. If anybody out there is hiring an analyst, he wants to be a financial or data analyst. He is
Mhm.
super smart. So shout out Tyrique. He's job hunting if anybody has anything available.
Hey, and tell him to send me his resume since that's where I guess I work.
Ooh, we will then.
Okay.
I did not realize
Right.
that.
I'm on the financial
All
sector,
right.
right?
Yeah,
Cool.
we will. I'll
Cool.
tell him.
Yes.
Yeah, he's really
And
And
good.
that.
yes, and I think probably one of those things that we'll probably like to do, as they head back to college or anything like that. Maybe it's one of those times where we'll have kind of produce those names and
Mhm.
kind of highlight what school they're going to now, and just like the St. Louis group that
Tracker.
does all the
Yeah.
covering of former players, that definitely kind of help keep track of local talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we say local, it's Missouri, Illinois, because we're pretty much all in that same. It's all entwined, right?
Right.
And if you say Columbia, it's Columbia, Missouri, or Illinois, or it's SIUE that's come into place. So it's still called St. Louis because
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
close enough. So
Yeah.
I think it's definitely nice to highlight a lot more of the everybody that plays around.
Absolutely.
Um,
And
we do know that we have AFC Columbia that been trying to get us to go there to watch. So
do it.
well,
It's really good.
maybe
Zach's got a
next
good
year.
yeah. I was gonna say Zach's got a good show down there.
Yeah.
Yes. I think probably next year that's the one maybe on the way to Kansas City.
Okay.
Try to see if they have a game during that window.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think I've watched quite a few Midwest PL games, which was quite entertaining.
Mhm.
Fortunately, I have not been able to watch one of you guys play yet.
What's up,
So,
Boti?
OT, hello, hello.
Boaty! There he is.
You call his name 3 times and he shows up. So you guys were right.
Yeah.
So yeah. So Boti, we've heard nothing but like great things from Adam and Abby.